Alright, BobalosRex here. And you can tell by the title, this is a drama video. So, we gotta talk about it now because now it's not just one. Like, I kind of talked about it in a news video last week, but now it's moving through the news cycle. WoW I was trying to bring up, like, a news site post about it. I wasn't finding anything recent, so this is just kind of in the normal news articles. You can find tweets talking about this drama. There are forum posts. But if you don't know, the Blizzard Microsoft legal team is now moving and shaking, right? Like I mentioned, the Turtle WoW lawsuits, because Turtle WoW got lawsuits, right? RICO charge it, like Microsoft, Blizzard, all of them throwing. The legal team is in action, right? But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not about to, like, what's gonna happen is gonna happen, you know? The American legal system. There you go. So they're getting lawsuits. Now we have other private servers receiving or talking about receiving cease and desists, and basically how they're stopping production, rolling back stuff. I guess today was Project Epoch. Yesterday or the other day, it was like this Everlook or something server. Like I said, I don't dabble in that stuff. I've never really dabbled in that stuff, so it's not really my cup of tea. I'm just a retail Bob, right? I play retail, I collect, right? And that is what's funny to me when classic people, I do see, because I do try to, like, look into what classic people are saying. I don't know how it feels to be playing. If you're not having fun, play another game. I've been playing Silksong, you know? I do think what I get for my sub, I can play retail, which I enjoy. Sometimes I dabble in classic. I had a little time in SOD, playing fresh. Different kind of WoW for everybody. I think more for your sub is better, unlike some people. I know some people say it's too many WoWs. I'm like, I get $15 a month. I can play whatever the frick I want. I see that as a good thing, personally, because everyone wants the option. But so the private servers are now getting cease and desist. You got the lawsuits. That stuff's gonna play out how it is. Servers are gonna shut down. And that's my opinion on the drama. So now y'all know my opinion. I'm playing retail, having a good time. Classic, the versions of Classic may not be what people want, and I don't blame them for looking elsewhere, right? But Blizzard is gonna use the law to go after these servers. I do think the Turtle one is interesting because that's a full lawsuit, whereas the other are cease and desist. So we'll see how that plays out. And if that makes you unhappy with WoW, then you know what? You know, don't play it or play on the server. Like, do what you do. You know, I'm not gonna tell people how to play their game, right? But some of these servers may be getting shut down. But that means if we look back at Nostarius, which with the Nostarius situation was a cease and desist, they stopped, and then they had a meetup, and then we ended up with Classic. So with all these private servers doing their variation of Classic adjusted, right? Some people say Classic Plus. Even the private servers themselves have said they are the Classic Plus experience. It does seem like Blizzard is working on a Classic Plus, and coming from this retail player, I'd be interested in checking it out. You know, I think people have laid out their reasons. I have videos laying out what I would want from a Classic Plus coming from where I want. But I do hope, and I do think, especially with what we're seeing from the Microsoft Blizzard legal team, the main company is working on something, you know. But that's my opinion. I know it's pretty, you know, in the middle, let people play their stuff. Because some people are talking about Blizzard having allowed private servers. They kind of do it by not going after them for the most part. You know, I wonder if we're going to see some certain RP ones left alone. We'll have to see who gets left alone, who doesn't, because there's stuff going around and I don't know the full story on the servers they're going after. Like I said, I'm no lawyer, but I'm curious to see how this plays out. But as far as I'm concerned as a retail player, what are they cooking as a Classic Plus? Because there's no reason they start this unless it's just the Xbox Microsoft team coming in and being like, yo, we're cleaning house. So if we see a full sweep, maybe that's the dealio. But if we see it specifically targeted, I wonder what specific things they're targeting and what they are cooking on their end. And that's it. This is basically my whole video for the drama. I'm not gonna be talking about it in every news video unless we get some big announcements or something, you know. And then again, it'll just be a news video. But I'm kind of just indifferent, right? And I think most retail players are just may not even know the drama is happening. They're just like, oh, okay. Because we're just going to be playing the game. We got housing coming out. We got Legion Remix. And that may be one of the reasons, like, people are talking about Mop Classic is dead. And it's like, we all know Mop Classic is closer to how retail plays. But because of the talent switch up, it is different enough for some retail players to maybe want to go back with the Legendary Quests. But I do see that as a side project for a lot of retail players. Maybe not a main raid project for a lot of retail players, because a lot of Mop isn't raiding. And I know the websites that track player count are about raiding. So I just wanted to include the classic talk. So we'll have to see, because right now retail's popping. We're going to have Legion Remix. Maybe as people finish the season, they'll play some Mop or whatever. And we all know the one thing I think would bring about a lot of mixture from retail players into all of the classics is if they have some kind of collection connection. Because there's people that got the Amani Bear in Classic that deserve it in retail. Alright, but that's my opinion on the drama. I know I guess I didn't even have the most dramatic opinion on the drama, but now I don't have to worry about talking about the Classic situation. I'll be back into Classic if they announce anything cool. I haven't been doing much in Mop. I may try to dabble in it. I would dabble in it a lot more if they announced what I just mentioned, but we'll have to see. We do have, FYI, any Classic person that watched this, there are Burning Crusade promotional stuff on the 2.5 PTR. So, y'all are going to get Burning Crusade news soon, alright? You will get Burning Crusade news soon. Well, maybe in a month, you know. Or, you know what? Would it be this month? Maybe it would be this month, because next month is going to be Legion Remix, so that's going to be in the news. Or they do it at Legion Remix / Burning Crusade Fresh. On the way. Anyways, that's it, y'all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.